Okay, so welcome. Nice to meet you guys. Miguel and Johan with us today here. We're going to talk a little bit about Matt, the product that you guys building on top of Streamer today. Maybe we can first start off with a very small introduction about who are you guys and what is actually Matt.
Hi, Anthony. Thank you for the invitation. I'm Johan. I'm the co-CEO and CFO of MAT, and I've been involved in the mobility aspect since 2016. I was one of the seed investors of Arcade City, which was the first crypto project to try to migrate ride sharing into Web3.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hi, Anthony. I'm Miguel Treviño. I'm the CTO at MAD, and the ride sharing company that we're trying to disrupt the decentralized ride sharing space. Um, that's it.
Great, awesome. Maybe we can talk a little bit about because today you have also built on top of Streamer. So why did you decide actually to use Streamer today?
All right, I can talk a little more about that. It's a good question. We were trying to find easy ways to integrate decentralized solutions to or centralized platform. It's not easy to move everything to a decentralized way of doing things because you need servers, you need a lot of stuff. So we found that Streamer is kind of like a solution that is already implemented to do pop-ups, so we can share information with our customers, and the drivers, which we call ambassadors, can get some rewards based on that information, um, like the location, where they're going, their car information, all those things we store it, and we were not doing a lot of things about it. And with Streamer, we can actually be sure that we are replacing the bonuses for drivers with the data token. And another thing that we can say about the client side, the drivers part, is that we are bringing crypto to the masses in Latin America. We're creating wallets in a just few steps, and they can utilize the data for free rides or discounts um, in their future rides.
And about the roadmap, so the roadmap today, where are you guys at this moment, and what are the goals also for the next years from here?
On the technical side, I can say that we are trying to include more networks to already our wallet that we have already with you guys. We implemented first the Ethereum side of things with the side chain, which is XDAI. Um, we're trying to integrate Solana, Binance Smart Chain, and in the near future, Constellation DAI. Also, we're trying to work on the DIPS reward system with some partnerships that we're trying to integrate in the streamer ecosystem, and also a little more of we're exploring the idea of a DAO for our drivers and users.
Mhm.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And to add up on the roadmap, like I can mention a little bit more of a little bit of the history of how we came to come to blockchain. So the Latin American market is is uh, is one of the top markets when there's fraud and like identity theft, and this is huge. Like, so one of the like big cases that happened in Latin America recently was the fact that Brazil, the central bank of Brazil, created a digital wallet for the people, and they have like been overwhelmed by the amount of fraud and identity theft because people want to create and launder money through this digital wallet. So even the government doesn't know how to like fix this, and that's where Miguel mentioned when Miguel mentioned DITs, decentralized IDs. That's what we eventually want to do because we think that's the market is asking for it, a new way to identify people and to prevent fraud. So we're exploring uh, different technologies, and we've been reading about like how Microsoft is already has built some infrastructure on this, and there's obviously some crypto products that are working on this. So we're knocking on doors and reading documentation and figure out how to implement this because these are an important aspect of mobility because you're not doing just a transaction on ride sharing. You're having two individuals getting a car. So if somebody is committing identity fraud, theft, or committing fraud when they create a profile, because what we have right now is like on Web2 we have the app that asks for Google sign in or Facebook sign in, but anybody can make an email, anybody can make an identity, but nobody can do that with DIDs, or eventually the idea is to have everyone have a DID and then have a robust DID. The more information you provide to it, the more you're going to be identified with this DID. So then you're going to be it will become a trustworthy DID, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to encourage people to have one association with only one DID, and we're trying to pioneer this in Latin America. So yeah, going back to the market in Latin America, there's a lot of theft of cars, of people, and you see those stories on YouTube every now and then. Well, even in the US, like people robbing drivers or things like that. So you have to bring in a security aspect to this, but Uber and the big Russian companies have been ignoring it for decades. They're not doing anything about it. And part of 2000, part of this in the middle of this year, we purchased a company called Mis Datos, which is now called Verifica, which means to verify in Spanish. And this company is the one that enables us to do a consulting of all these IDs of people, because what we do on Web2 currently is we ask people to submit their Web2 their ID. We extract the data out of the ID, and then we consult it with the database of the government, and then we say, oh, this person has a good KYC. We do KYC on them, and if they pass the KYC and we think they're safe, we let them drive, or we let them take a ride or be a passenger. So we're doing both. We're doing both KYCs on the passenger side and on the driver side. So we have become the safest driver sharing company in Latin America so far. Nobody nobody's doing this in Latin America, and we beat Uber to acquire this company. So we're very security focused for the safety of our drivers and passengers, and we think the next step is to start migrating into DIDs, decentralized IDs, and so we're looking to be the pioneers and to bring this to the masses. We're probably the only company in Latin America really pushing to do this, and one way to do this is on next year's roadmap Q1. We're planning to implement all modes of transportation in one app. So we're trying to get it like the metro station, the public routes, everything in one app, and we're probably going to be launching that feature in multiple cities. And yeah, we want to be an app that has utility for people, and on top of that, they can have a DID. And we're going to be encouraging uploading their. We're going to encourage users to upload their IDs and to build a robust DID with a token incentive. So eventually, we want to like release a token, but we don't. We're still exploring which is going to be the best chain to do it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's just a little bit of an insight of why we're bridging into blockchain. Is not just because we want to look cool and try to be, oh, Web3 is like the next step. Like we like I said in the beginning of the video, I was one of the seed investors of Arcade City, and like so that was back in 2016, I believe, and Arcade City failed to get traction because I think they were way ahead of everyone, and also they did a few mistakes, you know. Always they would be running, but we as a company, we decided, like I had always in the back of my mind as like, it's better to send or create the architecture of Web2 and then start migrating the things that are able to migrate it, because some of the things like you can migrate to Web3, but it will completely destroy the UX for a lot of users. So you have to become a little bit of a hybrid. It's like Binance. Binance created their exchange, and if you look at like the history of Binance came up in a moment when Poloniex was the biggest exchange in the world, and everybody knew, like they're like, oh man, these guys. I remember talking to people. They were like, Poloniex has like the best business. Like they're never gonna be taken down. It's like the Roman Empire. It's huge. Like they make so much money every day. Like 90% of the alternative coins get traded in Poloniex, and they were huge, And then Binance came in, and then they're like, well, we're gonna introduce a token, and then they raised $50 million, and now it's like what is like a over $40 billion company.
Yeah, even
And
over, I think.
yeah, over that, like, but yeah, they only raised $50 million, and the thing that they did is like they listened to the users, and they implemented a token, an incentive for people to start using the Web2 application, because they have a Web2 application. And this is the same thing we're looking to the we're looking to we're listening to the users, and they're saying we need security, we need a security focused company, and that's what we are right now. And then we know they want to have a token eventually, and that's why we're taking the steps of Binance, and it has made Binance extremely successful. We don't want to be migrating completely to Web3, but progressively, and because some of the technology is not there, and maybe some of the technology is there, but the UX is just it just is gonna discourage a lot of people to use it. So we're trying to be smart about it and not commit the mistakes of previous companies. And yeah, that's part of like the roadmap for next year is start bridging these little things that I mentioned.
Seems amazing. Okay, awesome. And do you already have some numbers? Like you can maybe also share how many users today are actually using
Mm.
Matt, and maybe you can also share with us like where can we actually download maybe an application, or where can we find Matt today?
So if you look, you can go to the Play Store and look at MAT, and we have roughly speaking 175,000 downloads from the passengers, and over 35,000 registered drivers. And we're continuing to grow. And but next year we think we're gonna have like I said, we're gonna be implementing all modes of transportation in one single app. So like you're gonna have people are gonna be able to figure out where to go in the metro station, everything, because these apps that I'm talking about are mostly government given. So every single city gives like a little app that is like made up like by some like third party app like developers, and they just make like really bad apps, and we're trying to make it bring in all these APIs and like bridge it into Math and have like a really solid app, and then send it to all these different cities. So we think the cost of acquisition is going to be way lower than ride sharing, because ride sharing is up to the roof, because it's a different market. Then you have like ride sharing is mostly in Latin America, is mostly for like middle class and higher class, and then you have like public transit, which is for like low income families. So then these people are gonna have a cost of acquisition that is lower, because nobody's building infrastructure for these people, and it's only the government like government apps that have built infrastructure, and these apps have like millions of downloads. So we're like, we need to bring these people into the app. So we think like our cost of acquisition is going to be lower. So we're aiming to have like 500,000 to 1 million um, uh, downloads for next year. And you have to remember, these people are part of the unbanked. Like there's an article done by A16Z, and they were saying there's a huge opportunity of for the unbanked in Latin America, and among them are like Colombia, Mexico, and these people are not getting infrastructure built for. Like a lot of the banks, they don't want to onboard them, they don't want to do anything with them. So that's why we say, okay, come in, use our app. There's a utility for it, and on top of that, you can create a DID, and then eventually you want to go to financial companies and say, hey, by the way, all these unbanked people that you didn't onboard, all these people that you don't want to deal with, we already did onboarding. So you can let them into your, you can give them a service, and you can just install this SDK into your platform, and they can sign in. So eventually what we want to do is bridging the unbanked and giving all these incentives, all these opportunities, I mean, to get services either with banking, with fintech companies, with and even purchasing like booking flights and hotels. Like everything you have to fill in your information, everything, it's so time consuming. So we want to enable all these people to have an ID, an alternative ID to their Google and Facebook, which is going to be protected by blockchain. And this is where the future is going. It's just like a few companies are seeing it, and most companies are focused on Web2. I've been in crypto before 2017. Before crypto became a buzzword on Google, I was in it. And so like I've been looking at the market from then, and I think this is right now the opportunity to get in and create a deal system in Latin America. And just to bring up one more point before finish this spot, uh, one thing that people don't know in North America and Europe is that Latin America has they're all different jurisdictions, yeah, but they also mostly all of them speak Spanish and Portuguese. But one thing they have in common, even though they're all different jurisdictions, they all have their own presidents and judicial systems and everything. They all have like an ID system, and it's mostly called cedula or like they have different acronyms for them, but let's just call it the cedula system. And everyone in Latin America, when you turn 18, you get an ID. It's not like in the US that you must get a car. The barrier of entry is lower in Latin America to get an ID. In the US, it's like you have to get a car, so then you can get well, not necessarily speaking, but if you get pulled over, like if you show an ID, it mostly is a driver license. You know, there's depending on the state, maybe you get a different ID. But over there is like the barrier of entry is like you get a car or you get your car, and then you get the test, and then you get an ID, which is the driver license. In Latin America, it's like you turn 18, and even before 18 in Colombia, it's like before you turn 18, you have an ID, and then you turn 18, you have a different ID. So everybody has these IDs, and these IDs are paper IDs, and then they're government given, right? And then they get updated every now and then, but then it's only like a number, and then there's nothing more for it, and it's so easy to make make a copy and then try to send it to different banking companies or whatever. But the thing is, like, what a DID allows is to create a more robust ID, and eventually what we're going to do is like allow people to upload all their information and build a DID around it. So that's what we're trying to figure out and working on. But like the Latin American market is a virgin market to implement DIDs, and nobody's doing it. And then so we want to be the leader, and next year we want to be aiming for like 500,000 to 1 million downloads, and have like, I don't know, maybe 40 to 50% of these people with DIDs.
That would be amazing. Yeah, very nice stuff. I think there's going to be a lot of people very interested also in what you just shared. Today, if people want to know a little bit more about Matt or follow up Matt, is there should we follow on Twitter? Should we follow somewhere else? Where can we follow up all the news?
We're like right now we have Spanish only focus social media accounts, because we're on Web2. So in the next week we're gonna be doing Web3 like crypto focus groups. But you can find us on like GoMat, GOMAT.co. That's the website, and it's in Spanish and English. But that's like the Web2 app, Web2 focus application. So, and we have apps for Android and iOS for users, and for drivers we only have for Android, because most drivers don't use iOS systems in Latin America. But yeah, that's where you can find us for now. And even on Twitter too, you can put the handle GOMATCOL, GOMATCOL. But everything is Spanish. We're in the next, like I said, in the next few weeks we're going to be doing accounts for English, so then we can cater for the crypto community.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we will put in the description of this video as well all the links below, so people can follow very easily as well. Well, I think we talked about everything about Matt, so this is quite great. Of course, there's much more, but we can't talk about everything in just like 10 or 15 minutes. So yeah, first of all, thank you very much for taking time and sharing with us a little bit more about Matt. We can't wait to see what's going to happen also in the next weeks, months, and even years from here. So really excited for that. And yeah, thank you very much for taking time. We will see each other, I believe, very soon.
Okay, thanks, Anthony, for letting us speak. And yeah, thanks for... And we hope that our work with Streamr is going to continue for the next little while. It's nice working with you guys.
For us too. Awesome. Have a great day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.